New at 6, foul language, racial slurs, and a shocking incentive that may have led to a violent beating. A Channel 2 Action News investigation exposes the threatening text messages that forced a local police chief off the job. Investigative reporter Aaron Diamond is here live after tracking down the target of those texts.
Aaron, when we got the tip about the police chief's text a few months ago, we figured there's no way it was true. And we're even more surprised once we worked our sources to identify and interview the target of those texts. The highly offensive language was one thing, but it was the takedown order and the beating that followed that put this on a whole nother level. At first, Grantville, Georgia, a city of fewer than 4,000 people, looks lost in time, but it's technology that took down the chief of police.
Oh my God.
The drama unfolded last month after a source gave us a series of text messages Chief Doug Jordan sent to some of his officers back in 2013. The first set started with this. Okay, Junebug saw Henry and his wife at Dollar General, shot him the bird and yelled "blank you" at him. So, gloves off. First officer to take him down gets steak dinner. Then, blank that drug-pushing mother blank. And finally, we going to find that piece of blank. We'll get to who Henry is in just a minute, but first we asked around town and learned Junebug is Leon Buchanan. We found him and showed him the chief's texts.
They threatening somebody's life. Like they're making bets on me or something.
Buchanan did serve a year in prison on drug charges in 2008, but since getting out,
I changed my whole life. Went to school, got my CDLs.
You drug pusher?
No, sir.
Either way, just 2 days after the chief texted that takedown order,
that's when I end up calling the police on the police.
My dad was sending this off. This man pulled up and jumped on my dad.
a frantic 911 call from Buchanan's hysterical cousin outside the family's home after now former Grantville police officer Demetrius Henry, the officer named in the first text, rolled up fast looking for Buchanan.
He just jumped out the car to my, didn't I tell you don't disrespect, and just started hitting him and beating him in the car.
Once he hit me the first time in the eye, my cell phone flew over there.
A beatdown so bad, Buchanan ended up in the hospital. His family filed excessive force complaints against Henry, but an internal investigation cleared him. Meantime, we reached Chief Jordan at the same number the text came from.
You need to come see this.
He agreed to meet us in town, but canceled at the last minute. We actually tried for weeks to get Jordan's side of all of this. When we drove up to his house outside Noonan, we saw him and his family outside in the yard. But by the time we got out of the truck, they'd scrambled in the house. We couldn't chase the chief forever, so we showed the text to a stunned Grantville mayor, Jim Sells.
He may need an attorney.
We also showed him another series of texts from last August. After seeing an off-duty officer, Henry, in this unrelated Channel 2 Action News story, another Grantville officer texted, "Henry's on the news." The chief wrote back, "What's that about?" Then added, he probably beat the blank out of some N-word.
I mean, does this represent the values of this town of Grantville?
No, absolutely not.
And Sells' condemnation came quick.
Using that word goes way beyond that. That cuts right to the core.
For Buchanan, the chief's texts leave no doubt in his mind.
He don't need to be a chief. He don't need to be a cop, period, man.
It seems Mayor Sells agreed and suspended Chief Jordan, who resigned 2 days later. Still,
This is not going away, no. Whether you pursue it or not, this is not going away.
and Officer Henry resigned from Grantville Police shortly after the internal review cleared him of those force complaints. He refused to speak to us, and former Chief Jordan still won't talk to us about any of this. But Grantville's mayor was right about this not going away. Why the local district attorney called in the GBI after we showed him Jordan's texts tomorrow night on Channel 2 Action News at 6, guys.
Now, Aaron, I know you guys really tried hard to get the chief.
We did. We did everything we could do. We went to his house, we went to his office, we called him, and we spoke to him, but we just could never convince him to do an interview with us. Eventually, we just had to move on. We had to get our story on television. I told you we couldn't chase him forever. He knows how to find us.
Right. So if he calls now.
If he calls now, we'd love to sit down with him and get his sign.
All right.
Good. Maybe he will.
Maybe.
Thanks.
Thanks for that. And we have posted this story on our Facebook page, and already it's generating a lot of conversation. Nearly 73,000 have seen our post. Just go to facebook.com/WSBTV.